A small life, a big dream. We got married young, with no money, no big party, no gold or dress. Her name was Sarah. She was kind. I was in love. We had one dream. We lived alone, above a building, on a rooftop with thin, old walls. No bed was new. No paint was fresh. No big lights. Just hope and love. That night, I wrote inside my book just one short line, but full of truth. I told her softly, I have no gold, I have no car, but I have you. Then I added, one day you'll smile, in a big house with windows wide. I'll tell you then, we built this life with nothing more than love and work. Our first home was a small, old room, hot in summer, cold in the rain. The roof was metal. The floor was rough. The door was thin. The air was dry. Each morning, early, Sarah cleaned. She made it nice. She made it shine. She looked at me with quiet joy and whispered low, this place is ours. I worked with wood. I fixed old chairs. I made small things with care and cuts. My hands got hurt with tools and dust, but I came home with love, not fear. She started small, in our warm kitchen. With flour and oil, she made soft bread. Then, little pies, she packed with care. She gave them out to girls she knew. We had no cash. We counted coins. We paid the rent. We shared our meals. But we were fine. We both had plans. We both had hope. We both had peace. Sometimes we cried, in quiet nights, when bills were high, when dreams felt far. But we held hands and talked for hours. We never stopped. We just held on. After 1 year, we tried a cart. We sold her pies. We made hot tea. The cart was clean. We worked all day. I fixed the wood. She served the smiles. But then, one day, men came and yelled. They took our cart. They gave no time. We stood in shock. We lost our work. Our dream was gone. We walked in tears. That night, I wrote, again with care. I wrote one line with quiet pride. If we lost this, we lost one thing, but not the mind that made it grow. Sarah read it. She smiled slow. She kissed my hand and wiped her tears. Then she said softly, we will try more. We won't give up. Not now. Not ever. We bought new books. We watched some clips. We learned online. We made a plan. I learned to sell, to price and post. I watched how shops grow step by step. Sarah cooked new types of pies. She tried new shapes. She used more spice. We made a name. We made a logo. It said, with love, heart-made pies. That's how it started. Just the two, with tired eyes and silent nights. We took a loan, not very big, but just enough to buy one cart. A real cart now, with full permit. It looked so clean. It made us proud. Each day we worked. Each day we learned. Each day we smiled and paid our dues. We made no noise. We told no one. We just worked hard. We just showed up. People returned. They loved her food. They said her pies had warmth inside. Kids came with coins to buy a piece. She wrapped it soft. She made them laugh. Some gave her tips, not for the food, but for the love that came with it. Each morning early we woke with hope. We dressed in dark. We left with joy. We pushed the cart down quiet streets. The wheels were loud. The road was cold. Sarah smiled. She wore her scarf. Her hands were red. Her heart was full. I held the front. She held the back. We moved as one. We never rushed. The city lights were still asleep. But we were up, with work to do. She placed her pies in small white bags. She stacked them neat. She closed the cart. I made the tea and lit the stove. I cleaned the tools. I set the cups. Then people came, one here, one there. Then more and more. They stood in line. They asked her name. They praised her pies. They paid with smiles and gave her thanks. Some came each day and told their friends. The cart grew known across our block. One man, one day, he came and stayed. He watched us work, then gave a card. He said his store needs good, fresh food. He liked our style and loved our taste. We talked all night about his deal. Should we agree or stay alone? I told Sarah, I trust your voice. She said, let's try, but keep things ours. Next week, we met and made a plan. He took our pies and sold them fast. He paid on time. He kept his word. We felt a lift. We felt some peace. We saved each week, just small amounts. We hid the cash. We made no noise. We ate at home. We bought no gold. We fixed old shoes. We stayed the same. Years passed us by with sun and rain. But we stayed strong and loved our path. We hired a boy to clean the cart. He came on time. He called us sir. The boy was kind. His name was Paul. He lost his dad. He helped his mom. Sarah saw his worn-out coat. She stitched a scarf. She gave him food. He called her Ma. She called him son. He worked so hard. He never stopped. One day he said, "You changed my life." We both cried soft and hugged him tight. With time, we grew. Not very fast, but slow and sure and step by step. We bought new pots, we made new signs, we paid some debt, we fixed our roof. We took small breaks but stayed in town. We had no trips, just long, calm walks. I held her hand. She held my hope. We both still dreamed of one safe place, a place with walls that did not shake, a roof that stayed, a bed that's soft. She spoke each night about that house with big white doors and wooden floor. I saw her smile just when she spoke, like she was there inside that dream. So I worked more. I took long shifts. I made new wood. I taught myself. At night, I read. I watched new things. I learned online. I took short notes. I fixed our books. I made clear lists. I tracked each pie and every coin. Sarah, too. She tried new dough. She made small cakes. She changed her box. She cared for taste. She changed her style, but kept the heart inside the food. We told no one about our dreams. They'd only laugh or tell us, stop. Some friends pulled back when we said no to loans or help or fake quick deals. We stayed alone, but not in pain. We knew our way was long, but real. We looked ahead, not left or right. We kept our path. We kept our fire. Then one spring day, I saw a post. A house for sale, not far from here. It looked too big. It felt too much. But I clicked in. I called the man. He said, "Come see." He gave the time. And so we went. We held our breath. The door was blue. The walls were white. The yard was small. The rooms were warm. Sarah cried, but tried to hide. I saw her eyes and knew her heart. She walked around. She touched each wall. She looked at me. I knew the truth. We took a loan, a long, big one. We signed the form. We paid the start. We moved inside. We bought no couch. We slept on mats. We smiled all night. That was our win. Not loud or big, but deep and calm and full of light. We cooked again. We used our cart. We paid on time. We never stopped. We thanked our past. We kissed our pain. We loved our scars. We loved our path. And on the wall, Sarah placed that old short line I wrote in ink. The house was small but full of light. The walls were clean. The floor was warm. Sarah swept and sang each day. She made new meals with love and care. The roof was safe. No rain came in. The nights were calm. The air was kind. We slept with peace. We woke with hope. The fight was long, but joy was here. We did not buy a fancy couch. We had old mats. We sat on rugs. We lit one lamp. We used old mugs. We hung some art. We smiled with tea. Our boy was 10. He had one room. He drew big dreams. He made small things. He wrote one line with chalk so bright, "Be brave and love your path." He called it home, not just a place. He knew the story behind each crack. He helped his mom with all her work. He packed the pies. He cleaned the cart. One day he said, "This house is us." I kissed his head and said, "He's right." We built it slow, with hands and sweat. Not just with gold, but care and fight. Our cart still rolled through sun and rain. We never stopped. We took no rest. Now people knew our simple name. They called it pure. They called it true. They asked for more, for bread and cake, for tea with spice and jam with figs. Sarah smiled and changed her box. She added tags and gave soft notes. I made the shelves with wood I found. I painted signs. I fixed each wheel. We worked all day. We cooked all night. But still, we laughed and held on tight. We told no one about our pain, but shared our food with those in need. One cold, dark day, a child stood near. He had no coat. He looked so thin. Sarah ran. She gave him soup. She gave him pie and held his hand. He said no words. He just sat still. He ate with joy. He slept with calm. Next day he came and stood in line. He brought a friend who looked the same. We fed them both and gave them tea and let them stay till night came back. More kids appeared with tired eyes, with broken shoes and quiet mouths. So we began to feed them all, 1 plate per day, one kind, soft word. We gave no talks. We asked no past. We just gave food and made them smile. They called her Ma. They called me Sir. They stayed around. They helped with tasks. The cart became more than a shop. It was a place that felt like home. One man passed by. He watched us long. He took a note, then asked to speak. He said, "I work with schools nearby and saw your work and want to help." He gave a grant, a small, clean fund to feed more kids and buy more tools. We said, "Yes, please," but kept it clear. We take no rules. We stay our way. He smiled and left and sent the check. We used it wise. We bought more pans. We cleaned the space. We painted walls. We placed more seats. We played soft songs. Sarah cried, not out of fear, but from deep love for what we built. I watched her work and saw her joy. She had new strength. She had deep fire. She taught 2 girls how to make dough. She showed them tricks. She shared her tools. They laughed so loud. They sang old songs. They danced around. They called her Queen. I stood and watched with full, wide eyes, my heart so full. I said, "Thank you." At night we sat, just her and I. The moon was big. The house was still. I told her this is what I dreamed, not cars or gold, but peace like this. She smiled and said, "Me too, my love," and held my hand with fingers firm. I kissed her head. I held her tight and whispered low, "We made it here." The city changed, but we stayed true. We kept our pace. We kept our name. We gave and gave. We shared our food. We kept things small. We kept hearts big. People talked loud about our shop. They told the news. They shared our tale. One day, a girl from one big show, she knocked our door and asked to film. She said, "We love your quiet way, your kind, strong work, your simple life." Sarah said, "We are just 2 who never quit, who never left." They set 1 mic. They placed 2 lights. They asked our past. We told them all. We spoke with calm, not pride or fame, just honest words from deep inside. The film was shown on one big night. We sat and watched. We held our breath. Then calls came in, and letters too, from near and far, from hearts and homes. One man wrote in from far away. He said, "Your tale gave me new hope. A woman sent a gift with note. She said, I cried and made new plans. We looked around and felt the shift, not in our hearts but in the world. We did not change. Our food stayed warm. Our hands still worked. Our path still slow. But now we knew that small can grow, that love can build, that peace can win. And as I write these words for you, I know it's true, that dreams take time. Winter came fast. The wind was loud. The sky was gray. The roads were cold. Sarah woke up before the sun. She made warm tea. She wore 2 coats. I cleaned the cart. I fixed the lock. I checked the pies. I folded cloths. The child group came. They knocked at 10. We gave them food. We gave them love. One girl was sick. She could not eat. She held her chest. She looked so weak. Sarah sat near and touched her hand. She sang a song. She wiped her tears. We called a nurse from down the road. She came at once and checked her pulse. She said, she needs a place to rest. She needs warm soup and time to heal. We closed the shop for half a day. We used that time to clean and plan. We made one room with clean, dry mats. We put small toys and books and soap. I told the nurse, we are not rich, but we have space and we have time. She smiled so wide. She said so kind. That's all they need. Just care and calm. More kids came in with eyes so wide. They took off coats. They took deep breaths. We placed big pots. We made soft food. We shared one meal. We passed the plates. Sarah said grace in her own way. She said, thank you for strength and peace. One boy stood up and hugged her tight. He said, you saved my only hope. I worked at night to build small beds. I used old wood and made it soft. I fixed the lights. I painted walls. I built small shelves for games and socks. We turned the place into a home, not big or new, but safe and warm. People walked in. They brought old clothes. They gave us shoes. They left with smiles. Sarah taught girls how to bake bread. She gave them tips. She gave them tools. I trained young boys to fix the wheels, to hold a drill, to trust their hands. They learned so fast. They laughed so loud. They called me boss and worked with pride. I told them this: you can do more. Just start with care and don't give up. One morning came with strong, big rain. The streets were wet. The lights went off. The kids held hands. They stayed inside. We lit one lamp. We shared one song. We made new games from string and chalk. We told old tales. We drew big maps. The power came back late at night, but no one cried. No one felt fear. A man in suit came to our shop. He looked so rich. He smelled like soap. He asked to speak. He looked around. He saw the work. He said, respect. He said, "I help with local jobs. I saw your shop and liked your plan." He offered space to teach more boys, to build small tools, to train their hands. I said, "That's good, but we are slow. We like to check. We like to talk." He said, "No rush." He gave a card. He left with grace. He tipped the jar. Sarah smiled and held my hand. She said, "We're seen, but let's stay kind." I nodded slow and kissed her cheek. I said, "Always, no matter what." The cart was old, but still it worked. The kids still helped. The food still sold. One boy could draw. He made new signs. He drew a bird. He painted light. We placed his work on the shop's front door, and people came and praised his gift. He cried with joy. He hugged his mom. He said, "I'm proud of who I am." Each month went fast. The days were full. The nights were short. The dreams grew big. We had no time to count our wins. We just kept on. We just gave more. Some days were hard. We lost some bread. We lost one cart. We lost one light. But we stood firm. We fixed what broke. We sang our songs and cleaned our place. Sarah fell sick one week in March. She could not stand. She lost her voice. I made her tea. I sat by her. I did her work. I prayed each night. The kids brought soup. They sang for her. They held her hand. They stayed around. She smiled so weak, but eyes were bright. She said, "They learned. They grew so strong." By May, she healed. Her laugh came back. She baked again. She walked with joy. I cried alone behind the door, not out of fear, but deep relief. I thanked the stars, the work, the time. I thanked the road that brought us here. Then I looked out and saw our street. It felt like home. It felt complete. The woman came from City News. She asked to write about our shop. She took some notes. She watched our work. She talked with kids. She saw their hands. She asked me why we did not grow. "You have good name. You could be big." I told her this. We like it small. We see each face. We feel each day. She paused and smiled. She closed her book. She said, "That's rare. That's very wise." She sent her words to local page. The story spread across the town. People came by. They left with joy. They asked to help. They brought more gifts. But we still cooked and cleaned the same. We stayed so small. We stayed the same. At night we rest. Our feet so sore, but hearts so full. We hold each hand. I look at her and see her glow. She shines so bright, like morning light. She looks at me with gentle eyes and says, "We did what we once dreamed." I say, "Not yet. There's more to come. but yes, we've built a world of love. The morning came with light so soft, the sky was clear, the wind was sweet. I woke up slow and stretched my arms. I looked outside. I heard the birds. Sarah was up. She made some tea. She kissed my head and smiled at me. The room was warm. The air felt kind. Our hearts were full. Our hands were strong. The shop was calm. The kids all came. They took their seats. They did their chores. One cleaned the floor. One stacked the cans. One sang a song. One told a joke. We gave them soup. We gave them bread. We listened close. We gave them time. No one rushed. No one yelled. We just breathed and let life move. A boy named Leo brought a gift, a book he made with colored ink. It showed our story in tiny parts, from first small cart to now this place. He drew each face. He wrote one line. He said, "This shop is full of hearts." Sarah cried. She hugged him tight. She said, "This book means more than gold." One mother came with baby girl. She looked so tired. She held her close. She said, "I came when I was lost. You gave me rice and space to breathe." Now she stood tall with work and joy. She made us cake and shared her win. We all clapped. We took a bite. We tasted hope. We tasted care. Later that week, a man walked in, with camera small and voice so soft. He said, "I heard this place is kind. I want to share your story wide." Sarah laughed and said, "We're shy, but okay, fine. Just make it real." He filmed our smiles. He filmed the kids. He filmed the board with dreams and stars. That film went far. It touched new eyes. It crossed some seas. It reached more hearts. Strangers wrote from towns and farms. They sent us notes and helped with love. One school sent books. One cook sent tools. One nurse came by to teach first aid. We did not ask. We just gave care. And care came back in ways we dreamed. I stood one night and looked around. The walls were clean. The shelves were full. I saw each chair. I saw each name. I saw one team. I saw our steps. Sarah came with a quiet voice. She said, "It's time to rest a bit." We closed our eyes and thanked the past and smiled ahead with no regret. This was not luck. This was not fast. This took hard years and tiny steps. It came from work, from open hands, from broken days, from shared warm soup. It came from trust, from giving more, from trying again when things went wrong. And now we see the love we grew, the space we made, the peace we built. I hope this session was helpful. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more such interesting stories. Take care, everyone.